Guys, another inbox review, this time of another big beast. I don't know if you remember, about a year ago I did one on the Vulcan. Well, before that I'd actually got hold of this one, which is the first of the V-bombers, which of course was the Vickers Valiant. This was the first of the V-bombers to go into service, I think around about circa 1950. I think, and it did have an embellished record until around about 1965, when one actually had structural failure and crashed, and they had a few more problems. They did do a upgraded B2 Pathfinder variant, which unfortunately never reached mass production, although I have seen somebody in Scale Aviation Modeler magazine do a feature on converting this into the B2 Pathfinder version, which was an all black prototype and had a different undercarriage, and obviously on the wings they had some great big tanks, but other than that, the only one that ever actually saw service was the B1. It was also used as a reconnaissance aircraft, and also it was the first sort of aerial tanker jet aircraft. You can actually get, believe it or not, and I've actually got them on the tablet here. Airfix also do, if I can get this to upload, would you believe it? Bear with me a minute, guys. I don't know how I've lost the page, but I'll get into it again. Here we go. If you see on here, they do an upgrade set whereby you can convert it into a reconnaissance or tanker conversion. You're going to have to bear with me because this thing takes a while to upload, and you can source it on eBay as well. As you can see, this one's going for about $8.99. As I say, you've got the detail pack for the tanker version, or you've got it for the reconnaissance version. You can get aftermarket for a lot of this as well, if you bear with me. I'll go back, source it through eBay. You've got a big edge set which you can do to enhance the detail, pitot tube. I've even got a painted decal set, metal undercarriage, I think, if I can find one under here, or you've got the interior for bays, which is what I'd do, and obviously you've got metal undercarriage as well. So if you want to enhance this kit, you can certainly go to town on it. You've even got a set of photo etch belts which you can use for the crew's seat belts, although you're not going to see much once you've actually put the cockpit on, but at least you'd know it was there, you know. So there's ample opportunity to go into town on this kit, really, if you want to really super detail it. As I say, it's an aircraft that was in service until around about 65, and one was kept flying at Wisley, well, the former airfield Wisley, until around about 1968, when it was flown to the Royal Air Force Review for its 50th anniversary at Abingdon, which was the last ever flight of the Valiant. And it was the only one that had its airframe resparred. Basically, because of the costs, they decided to retire the aircraft early and scrap the majority of the fleet. There is only one prime solitary example left, which was used as depicted on the box art here for Operation Grapple, which was the neutron bomb test sail in Bikini Atoll. Was it Bikini Atoll or somewhere out there in the Pacific? In the late 50s, where this was just an overall white anti-flash scheme, as it were. Well, needless to say, the box, I'll give you an impression of the box. You thought the Vulcan box was big. This is the Vulcan box. Yeah. It's a beast. Yeah, when I opened it up the first time, I was like, oh my god, how the hell am I going to put that when I've built it? But I'll worry about that in the future. This is could be some years off before I build this beast. But as you can see here, you've got a number of variants you can use. You can do aerial one when it was used at Boscombe Down. You've got the Operation Grapple one, which was used in nuclear testing. A standard squadron one, which you can see here in the anti-flash scheme and over his markings, and then obviously the last colour scheme it actually used when the V-Force went to low-level operations, which was the camo, which unfortunately was the Valiant's downfall, because it wasn't designed to fly low level. Stress was causing fatigue on the airframes, and as I said, one had an accident and a serious crash, killing most of the crew. And then after that, it was investigated as to whether it would be worth resparring the fleet. Only one was ever done, which I mentioned was the last one to fly in '68. And purely because of cost grounds, they decided to retire the aircraft early and scrap the whole of the fleet. But as I say, the one that was used in the grapple operations, you can still see at Cosford in their Cold War section. And I was lucky enough to see it at the Hendon Air Museum some years ago, and it is a beast. It's huge. I thought the Vulcan was big, but this, oh, wow. But anyway, as you can see here, the kit number, if you want to know, is A11001. That's A11001. Okay. As I say, you've got a plethora of history on the side of the box here. It is a big box. And then obviously you've got the 4 options that you can build of the kit. So I mean, if you wanted to get 4 kits of this, you could do. You can still sell some on eBay as well as most model shops. And then on the back you've got about all the Airfix products, etc., and the club. So there you go. And first off, what I'm going to do is obviously run through the instruction sheet. Now it is a big booklet, I will grant you, because I mean this is going to be a big kit. I'm just going to put the box down here. Okay, same old format with Airfix. You've got all the warning signs like don't eat it, don't snort it, don't sleep with it, etc. Okay, and then a short history about the aircraft itself. Okay, and then obviously you've got all your symbols in there on the construction basis. And first off, as is usual with most aircraft kits, is the actual assembly of the internal cockpit and engineering bay, which you can see here. Not a lot to it, to be honest with you, but as I say, if you want to enhance it, you can do by getting some aftermarket, etc. Although you're not going to see a lot, but at the end of the day, at least you know it's there. And then basically you put on the rear housing for the tailplane. It's instructing you for some reason to cut that off. So whether it's a correction in the process of the actual kit, I don't know. Then obviously you put the side navigation windows either side of the fuselage. Fit the internal cockpit and engineering bay into the cockpit area. Okay, that's your cover for the rear of the actual deck. Then you put the actual nose in undercarriage bay in, and you can have the added option of having the bomb bay open with the nuclear bomb inside if you want to, or alternately have the ordinary bomb load. Okay, because I know these aircraft will use out in Suez as well, which is the only time it was used in anger. And then obviously you've got the bulkheads to put in, okay, for the bomb bay. Add the 2 fuselage halves together, and then obviously depending on what you want to do, you can either have the bomb bay closed or sealed. I might leave it open actually with the atomic bomb on it, so there you go. And then obviously the front part of the nose bay. Okay, and there we go again. This is the option if you want to put the actual nuclear bomb in there. Again, you've got the racks for the various bombs. It depends on which bomb load you want to do. Then you've got the bomb load bulkhead to go in, and there's your there's your bomb bay mechanism for the doors either side, as you can see here. Okay, and it's telling you how to position them depending on which bomb load you want to put in. And then obviously this is the other part, the nose wheel bay, and then obviously put the bomb bay in, fuselage halves together. That's your bomb bay compartments, I suppose, if you want them separated for the multi-bomb load, as you can see here. Okay, I'll get it into shot. I don't know if you guys can see it. Can you see it? There you go. Again, it's up to you what you want to do. Then you've got the assembly of the air intakes that you see there. Okay, then put the fan blades in, air intakes into the lower part of the wing, undercarriage bay in. Again, on the other one, it's telling you to drill holes, that's for the fuel tank, and then the upper wing goes to the lower parts of the wing. And it's telling you to put some nose weight in, because you don't want this thing to be a tail sitter, obviously. Then add the wing to the fuselage. Tail planes go together, that goes to the actual tail. Okay, slots in. And then you've obviously got the assembly of the rudders, which you can see here, and the elevators. And then you've got the exhaust pipes and exhaust nozzles. Add them into the back of the engines on the wing. Add the elevators and the elevators to the tail planes. Again, depending on what version you're doing, you basically pick which rear end you're going to have for auxiliary power unit. Then add the undercarriage legs. Now, as I say, if you want to, you can get some aftermarket metal ones, which are far more highly detailed, and some aftermarket saws for your gear bay doors. Okay, and then there's the other mechanism which goes in for the undercarriage doors, as you can see there, either side. It's your bay doors again. Nose wheel assembly, main undercarriage assembly. Put the gear bay doors in, the outer ones, etc. And then add the main bogies in, etc. Okay, and it's telling you the angle to have them at as well. And then you concentrate on the nose bay door and gear doors. And then assemble the fuel tanks, which you can see here. Okay. And then obviously you've got the observer's position there, which goes under the nose, and then obviously the main windscreen, as you can see here. Add your main fuel tanks to the lower wing. I don't know. Oh yeah, and then obviously this you cut the space for the pitot tube on the main canopy. Okay, or not, whichever version you're going to build. Okay, so it's entirely up to you. You've got a multitude of which one for which version. Okay, then add the air intake there. And also, if you want to, you can leave the door open for maybe a squadron scramble. I don't know what this part is. Maybe that's part of the refueling probe. I don't know. I don't think these things have refueling probes on them, but there you go. And then obviously add the gear back the main door, or you can leave it open. I think I'm going to leave mine open so we can see at least some detail inside. And then that's the main assembly done. And obviously you've got your colour call outs, as you can see here. First option is XD823 of number 49 Squadron, which is on Christmas Island, Operation Grapple, which is the actual example that's preserved at Cosford. June the 19th, 1957, when it actually dropped the Blue Danube bomb, which you've got here for the colour guide. Okay, and that's an overall white, as it were. Okay, next option. Again, is now all white anti-flash one. This might be the one I actually build, I think. It's XD857, again of number 49 Squadron, based at Marham, England, 1963. I quite like this. I mean, especially with the low-vis markings. I think it actually adds to the actual shape and sleekness of the aircraft. I might even get a second one and build it as this one and its final colour scheme. This is WZ404, number 207 Squadron, Royal Air Force Marham again, 1964. Okay, it was about a year before the aircraft was taken out of service and retired. So there you go. Okay, and then the final scheme, which is quite an interesting one, is of WB215, which was the second prototype aeroplane and armament and used at the Aeroplane and Armament Experimental Establishment, Boscombe Down, England, 1956. And obviously you've got a different set of air inlets with this one as well, so be careful when you go through it. Make sure that you put the right air inlets on with the right aircraft. Okay, and that's an overall silver again, all right, or aluminium. So basically that is the instruction sheet in a nutshell. Now let's come to the crux of the actual matter. The kit itself all comes in one big bag. Now that I think is a bad idea, because they could have done separate bags with that Sprues packed away. Okay, obviously depending on which version you do, you could do the prototype, and obviously you've got the different tail outlet, as you can see here. Okay, or APU unit. Now what I'm going to do is I'll take the sprues all out. This is going to be a job and a half, I must admit. Famous last words. There we go. Right, that's that. I don't want to lose anything, so I'm just going to delicately take these all out. And the one thing I will say is that the detail on them is absolutely superb. They really did do their research on this. I think they must have used the aircraft that was using the grapple raids when they did these scans on these. So it's all 3D scans now. So I'm just going to pop these down here a minute, put it back in the box, as it were. Okay, first sprue. Unfortunately I've lost some of the elevators, so I'm not going to lose too much. I don't want to lose any essential parts of the kit. As you can see, if I get it into shot, this is your back of your bomb bay wall. Detail on it's not bad, I have to say. Again, you could probably add some external wiring. This is your cockpit area, an engineering part, as you can see here. That's the upper part of the back of the engineer's compartment. Your seats, not bad detail, but again you can get aftermarket seat belts for them, including for the crew, although the crew stations, which you can see, if I can get it into shot, you can see they've already got these seat belts molded on. Okay, so the surprising thing is you haven't got any crew in this, which does surprise me, but there you go. That's your internal hatch. There's your fuel tanks. Again, beautiful panel lines on it, so you can put a nice wash on that. Tyres for the wheel hubs. I think this is part of the undercarriage bay, I'm not quite sure. That is your nose wheel section. Not a lot of detail in there again, but again you can get some aftermarket. Good detail on the internal surfaces of the actual bay doors, I have to say. Very nicely done. And also the wheel hubs, very nicely caught as well, as you can see here. And that's your front nose wheel. Again, depending on which version you're going to do. Okay, there's your exhaust hubs. Okay, and there is your fan blades for your engines. Okay, and obviously you've got the exhaust nozzles right here. Not bad detail, I have to say. And that's about that on the first sprue. Okay, so I'll pop that down here. Second sprue, you've got the bomb bay itself, as you can see here, quite fairly sufficient detail. Undercarriage legs, not bad. You can improve on those. As I say, you can get metal ones, which I'll probably do. That's your air inlets, as you can see here. Okay, crew ladder for the internal part of the cockpit. Undercarriage main wing bays, as you can see here. Not bad detail, but you could add to it with some wires, I suppose. And obviously, again, if you want to do it with the bomb bay closed, nice panel line detail, and there's a nice texture on it too, which I like. Elevators are quite nicely moulded, nice crisp and clear. main tailplane, as you can see here. Again, I like these little vortices here for measuring the speed of the aircraft. Very nicely done, and as I say, there's a nice textured surface on there. I must admit that's very nicely done. So that's that part. Then you've got the fuselage halves. Big, aren't they? But again, the detail on the actual fuselage, beautiful panel lines on it, absolutely gorgeous and crisp. Very, very nicely done. Again with the tail, nice detail on that, nice and crisp, as you can see here. And then you've got the vortices on the side, very nicely done. Beautiful job, I have to say. And then next sprue, you've got the bomb bay for the Blue Danube bomb, and then there's your other bombs right there, bomb racks as well. Depending on which bomb load you want to depict, I think I'm going to put the Blue Danube bomb in that one. So there you go. Okay. And then obviously the final big sprue. Look at the size of the wings on this thing. I thought the Vulcan was big, but my God, it's huge. Absolutely huge. But again, beautiful panel line detail on it, absolutely gorgeous. It really is well caught, and I love it. I really am going to look forward to building this beast, but as I say, at the moment I just haven't got the space for it, so we will see. Again, nice texture on the first surface. You can actually feel it as well. It's beautifully moulded, so I definitely recommend you go and get this kit. And if you've got a big enough cabinet, get all four. And then obviously the last bit is the clear parts. Now they have packed that in a separate bag, which is a good bit of news, and obviously got the underneath with the observer station for whichever variant you want to do. Okay. If it's the prototype, obviously that's the prototype canopy, and that's for your main service vehicle, again with the bottom part, the observation pad. And interestingly enough, they've got a clear part for the recon version, so obviously they were intent on getting that extra pack out. So there you go, but beautifully clear and very nicely done. And the good thing is, also, I forgot to mention, all your stencils have even got a layout of where to put them, so that's going to keep you very, very busy, and that's at each individual version. Okay, so that will keep you pretty blooming busy, I can tell you. And then obviously the last thing is the decals themselves. They are, again, cartograph. I think they're cartograph. Beautifully done. Obviously that's the main engineering panel, but again, as I say, you can get an aftermarket set. That's all your stencils. As I say, I'm probably going to go for XD857, which is the 49 Squadron version at Marham in 63. I just love the little dog on it as well. But as I say, it's entirely up to you which version you want to build. But as I say, the quality of the decals on these is absolutely gorgeous. It really is. So basically, that is the Vickers Valiant by Airfix in 1/72 in a nutshell. Would I recommend this kit? Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. Although I will try and get some added detail done to it. I'm going to order some a big head set or cockpit set, masking set, etc. That's going to keep me busy, especially with the decals, I have to say. As I say, I'm just trying to get everything back in its bag. And I think it's still being produced. I'm not sure. I don't know if it's out of production anymore, but I think they'd be crazy not to keep it going, to be honest, because it's such an iconic aircraft. And then, after all, it was the first of the V-bombers. And as everybody, I don't know if is aware, Airfix are planning on reissuing a new tool of the Victor I think it's due out either September or October. I know it's soon, and that's going to be interesting to have a look at as well. Although I have got the old reissued Revell Matchbox kit. The only trouble with that is it's got, you're going to have to rescribe all that because it's got raised panel lines and it looks awful. Although it is a nice kit once it's built properly. I've seen a few built at various model shows, and I'll make sure I haven't lost anything, including this one. In fact, one of the guys made it possible for the cockpit to be taken off so you could see all the detail inside, and it looked absolutely superb. So, that, my friends, is the Airfix Vickers Valiant Mk1. As I say, you can get some conversion sets for the reconnaissance and tanker version if you've got a big enough cabinet, but there you go. A beautiful looking aircraft, very iconic, and as we all know, it was the first of the V bombers, although it was prematurely taken out of service, but there you go. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this in-box review. So until the next time, get kit crazy, happy modelling, and I'll speak to you soon.